Hello, everybody. It is time for the objective helmet tier ranking. Definitely just not my personal opinions. We've already got some people in the chat, which is absolutely awesome to see. We've got Minecraft Cubing. He says that he can't wait. We got Wannabe Revan says that he can't wait. That is awesome to hear. We've got some other people here. We've got 67. I don't understand this 67 meme thing. Can someone actually explain it to me, or is it just like one of those random internet Gen Alpha memes? I'm not quite sure. We've got may the best helmet win. Cheers. Yes, absolutely. The best helmet will win because it is all my objective opinion. We got Ahab. Yo dog, what's up? Nothing much. Just about to do an absolutely awesome stream with some of you guys. How's it going with all of you? We'll let a few people come in. I'm sure some people will be joining shortly, which is awesome. Before we get into the tier ranking, it's some brain rotten Gen Alpha. I can't say that on stream. Okay, I thought so. Yeah, I mean, it's not like my generation have some random stuff like that as well. You look like Alexander the Great. Whoever thought of doing Alexander on build? Thank you very much. I'm told that I either look like Alexander the Great or that I look like Cupid. So I guess take that for what it's worth. Have I ever thought about doing an Alexander armor build? I have not. Actually, I haven't really thought about delving into Hellenistic or Alexander era armors. Maybe something that I might do in the future, though. That would be quite cool. Or hey, if they're ever making a new Alexander movie, hit me up. If it's not the Corinthian or a Salet, I'll be grumpy. Well, the spoiler alert, the Corinthian will be up there. So we'll see. The Salet is also a really solid helmet. I do also love the Salet. All right. So, is a tier list options pre-made, or are you taking suggestions while it goes? I have a pre-made list of around 20-something helmets. So unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to add more. But maybe at the end we can add some more. I also have a little special specific helmet that I added on there as well. But I will be consulting the chat when it comes to helmets as well. But I mean, of course, this is just a bit of fun. It's not going to be categorical. My apologies if one of the helmets that you really love doesn't make it to the S tier list. But we'll have to see. Maybe you can swim me around and defend it in the comments. There's some unique features about Hellenistic tube and yoke armor. But muscle cuirasses don't really change. Well, actually, muscle cuirasses do change as well. We see the addition of the Epomedes on the muscle cuirasses, but otherwise that's about it. But yes, we do definitely see some changes in tube and yokes, particularly on the Terragaze. Minecraft Cubing says, I like the Pilos, it's a dome, and the name is funny. The Pilos, I think people will be surprised how I rank the Pilos on this list. As I used to hate the Pilos, now I actually really love it, and it is a very practical helmet, and we'll see. As for the actual tier list criteria, again, this isn't a very serious ranking, so some of them will be rule of cool, who I think looks the coolest, others will have actual practical elements, but fundamentally we'll just put them where they are, because that's how that goes. I wonder, helmets were unified, but the shield paintings were not. Helmets were never unified either. We would have seen many different types of helmets, but shield blazons eventually seem to become somewhat uniform. Never go full Alexander. Okay. I don't know, I'm getting mixed messages here. Spartan 035, otherwise known as my good friend Benny, quit scheduling these during football season. Or maybe you should grow up out of your college football days there, Benjamin. 2 streams today, Martin and Adam. Yes, that is my name. Yes, Martin's stream earlier where he was talking about Heroes of Bronze. I managed to tune in for a couple minutes. Love Martin. Great guy here. So we got 11 people. I think that's enough time to get started. So I've got your guys' chat up on my phone down here because I'm an absolute tech god. And then I should be able to switch screens to this and share this tab. And I think that you guys will be able to see this. So how many helmets do we have? We got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 23-ish. 23-ish. And in no particular order, we are starting off with a very iconic helmet. That being the flat top Great Helm. This is arguably one of the most iconic medieval helmets out there. I think that it's absolutely awesome. Might not necessarily have been the most practical, being flat topped, as they quickly evolve out of it into the Sugarloaf, but I'm going to plonk that in a solid A tier. I think that that is super iconic, and overall just a really, really awesome helmet. How many continents are you covering? That's a good question. Most of them are European. However, I do have at least one Japanese helmet in here as well. So I think 2. So the shape was unified in both cases, but additions like colors were allowed when using shields. So yeah, Aspides seem to have been plus or minus a few inches the same shape, but otherwise helmets would have varied in models. But otherwise, yeah, as far as we can tell, completely customizable. It seems Martin is a level below you. He has some technical difficulties. Oh, I wouldn't say that yet. We'll see how this goes. I think Martin's streaming setup's actually far better than mine. Anyway, so there we go. That is the flat top Great Helm. I think really awesome. Next up, we have a Chalcidian style helmet. Sorry that the pictures are a little bit small for you guys. This is a Chalcidian without hinged cheek plates. I actually really love this model of helmet. Very practical, sort of a bridge between Corinthians and Piloi style helmets. I think they're slightly more open to Corinthians. Do I prefer it to the Great Helm? I'm not sure. It's definitely an A-tier helmet. Do I prefer it to the Great Helm? I'm going to say no for now. Yeah, helmet is small, so even as so difficult, it's not that visible from afar. Is that sorry that you just can't really see the helmets that well? Yeah, I'm sorry. Will I be able to change? Let me see. What if I do that? That, I think, should make you see it better. There we go. Do we have to vote at all? No, you don't have to vote at all. Again, it's just going to be a bit of fun. You guys can chime in if you vehemently disagree with one of the choices that I've made. Then let me know, and I might be willing to change it. But we'll see. Right now, I've got flat top Great Helm in A tier, and I've got the Chalcidian helmet in A tier just behind it as well. Next up, we have a very timeless helmet. This is, of course, the Chapelle de Feu, or the kettle hat. As a British person, I love the name. Nothing particularly special about this helmet. It seems to have been incredibly practical, great for footmen, great for guards, very, very practical style of helmet. I actually love its simplicity. I'm going to put this one in B tier. Overall, solid, nothing too fancy, but overall really, really nice and practical model. Okay, this is way better for you guys. Okay, perfect. Good. Good. I also am aware there's a bit of a stream delay. That's still something I haven't figured out how to fix. I think that's just through my streaming software. So sorry if that causes any confusion. By the way, the example of the last helmet on the list is not an original, and isn't indicative of the type. I believe the last one on the list is an original. That was the sort of special edition I added on there because it is just really interesting. If that one's not an original, it is definitely a replica of an original, which I just thought is a very, very interesting helmet. So I added it on here. It's almost a pseudo Biotian. Yeah, that is true. The Biotian helmet, which I believe I have on the list, yes, towards the end, is very, very similar to the Kettle helmet. And again, it's sort of just a timeless helmet, same way that the Pylos is very similar to the Norman nasal helm. helmet shapes that were used for thousands of years, which is very, very effective. And we see them reappearing. I mean, the kettle helmet's even very similar to like World War One and Two military helmets. You think the kettle helmet deserves A tier? I could see moving the kettle helmet up to A tier. Right? It is a very, very practical helmet. We'll see where everything is aligning at the end, and then we will adjust. Next up is another fan favorite, and this is one of my favorites as well. This is the Germanbu or Hjelmenbu, I'm not entirely sure how you pronounce it, helmet found in Norway in the Hjelmenbu burial mound, one of the only basically confirmed Viking helmets from Scandinavia. I love this helmet. It is really iconic, very, very cool. I would probably put it in A tier. I'm thinking A tier, but behind the Chalcidian and the Great Helm. Overall, I think a really, really cool looking helmet. Oh, maybe it's B tier. I know. I'll leave it in A tier for now. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Should the Hjelmenbu be higher or slightly lower on the list? Pylos is S tier. It might be. It might be. We have got to the Pylos next. Okay, let's see. You rank them by popularity of viewers or by realistic usage on the battlefield. Whatever I want, really, to be quite honest. This is my objective tier ranking list. I take practicality into account, but also the rule of cool is incredibly important. But yes, let's see. We have let's start a vote for the Hjelmenbu style helmet. A or B tier? What do we think? What do we think? Waiting for that stream delay to kick in. A or B tier for the Scandinavian Hjelmenbu helmet? B tier in a counter protection. Keep in mind as well that the Hjelmenbu would also have an Aventail. Whether full face or half face, unclear. But it would have an Aventail historically as well. People are saying A tier, A tier. Okay, I think we'll leave it. I think we'll leave it A tier for now. Next up, we have the Pylos helmet, a probably very controversial helmet. Some people probably love this helmet. I'm pretty sure it isn't original. Most of the ones I know have a smoother shape, round eye holes, and they're more refined and robust to look overall. The Hjelmenbu? This Hjelmenbu example is a real one. This is from the Oslo Museum. So point at them, you don't know them as good. We're going just straight from the list, so whichever one's next up. But yeah, so this Hjelmenbu is real. This is from the Oslo Museum in Norway, this picture. So all of the pictures of the helmets in this are of originals, except for possibly the weird smiley Cyberman looking helmet. Oh, the last helmet? Yeah. If not, it is. I'm not sure if this particular image is a reproduction, but there is an original that looks like this that it's based on. Okay, so Pylos helmet. Lots of people hate this helmet. Lots of people love this helmet. I used to hate this helmet a lot. Well, not hate is a strong word. It never used to do something for me. However, as I've matured with age, in my ripe old age, I love this helmet. It is such a practical, simplistic soldier's helmet that was just great for campaigning, offered good protection, is basically timeless. We see conical helmets. We do see conical helmets basically until the end of the medieval period. Is it S tier? For me, no. I can see why people want to put it S tier. For me, it is a solid A tier, but it is behind the Chalcidian and the Great Helm. Overall, really solid, practical helmet that can also be fancied up. We sometimes see these things with horns, crests, um, cheek guards, neck guards in some cases later on in the Hellenistic. But overall, the conical, simplistic Pilos, I really love for its simplicity. I think it is a great helmet, and saw a lot of use in the Peloponnesian Wars. You think the Great Helmet's way too high? What? I don't know about that. We'll have to see what other people think. It's I love the Great Helm, the flat top Great Helm. We got some controversy over the Pilos. You think, yeah, Minecraft cubing. You think A, right where it is, perfect. It's maybe a C tier. Yeah, I can see why this one's going to probably be the most controversial helmet ranking so far. Personally, I think it will grow on people as agree with me, so I'm going to keep it there. Now, next up, we have what actually many of you may be surprised here is my favorite helmet model of all time, the pig-faced bassinet. This one is the very iconic one from the Wallace collection. So for me, this is straight up going S tier. Some of you guys probably hate this helmet as well. I love this helmet. All around my favorite helmet of all time. It's so practical, as demonstrated by Todd's Workshop's excellent tests. And I absolutely love the character of this helmet. I think it's such a cool helmet. I absolutely love the hound skull, pig-faced, crow's beak, whatever the heck, bassinet. And I will die on that hill. It is actually my favorite helmet. I know some people, you typically either love or hate the pig-faced bassinet. I absolutely love that helmet. It has a flat top, which isn't that good. Practically, yeah, the flat top Great Helm was quite a short experiment. However, on horseback, that flat top is quite solid because it's unlikely for a blow to actually hit you directly on top of the head. But I just think character-wise, it looks absolutely awesome. I think it's probably the most iconic medieval helmet, I would say, the Great Helm. But yeah, so that is Houndskull Bassinet, Pig-Faced Bassinet. S tier for me. Next up, we have probably what everyone else is expecting to go right in S tier as well. That is the Hermione-style Corinthian helmet. I don't think I have to say much about this one. It looks absolutely awesome. It is probably the most iconic helmet of all time. It offers excellent protection. It also offers the versatility of being worn tipped up. I love this style of helmet. Really, really great. Corinthian B tier? What? Get out of here. Corinthian no world is a B tier helmet. S tier helmet all the way. I was not expecting the Houndskull to be your favorite. Yeah, I don't think many people do. And now I say it's my favorite. It's probably a tie with the Corinthian, but I absolutely love the Houndskull helmet. I think that it is so cool. But Corinthian, I don't think anyone is really going to disagree that that's an S tier helmet. So iconic, so characteristic, so symbolic, but also so epic and practical at the same time. Definitely going S tier for me. Next up, this is probably a little bit hard to see. This is just a very simple Norman nasal helm. I actually prefer the Pilos to this, even though this has arguably got more to it to the Pilos. I'm thinking B tier, maybe C tier, top of C tier. Again, very, very practical helmet, exceedingly practical helmet, and simple helmet. I prefer the kettle, probably because I'm British and like tea. What do we think for the Norman nasal helm? B tier, is that fair? Or do you think that I should raise it due to its unanimous use, or lower it because of its simplicity and lack of fanciness? What are we thinking for the Norman nasal helm? I'm thinking either B or C tier, personally. You think above the kettle? Interesting. Interesting. Personally, I do prefer the kettle hat. I think it has a little bit more charm to it for me personally. C, it does the job. High B, low A, B tier. Okay, so you got some people wanting it to go higher, some people wanting it to go lower. I think we'll leave it where it is then. I think B seems pretty fair for me behind the kettle hat. But again, we can revise these later. Next up, we have the Montefortino style helmet. This is an earlier Roman style helmet. Again, quite similar to the Pilos and the Nasal. It is fundamentally a conical helm, in this case with cheek guards. I really like the Montefortino, especially when we keep in mind that it would be in bronze. Would I say it's A tier? No. I would say it's B tier, and I would say I'd say again behind the kettle hat. But what do we think here? What are people thinking here? Are you Norman at all? Supposedly someone by English ancestors were. Am I Norman? Yeah. So my last name is actually Godfrey, and that is a Norman name. So I am basically the whitest person you could ever be. I'm English. All of my family's English. My extended family is Welsh and Scottish, and I also have roots from Normandy. So yes, somewhere down the line I am, yes. We have a donation. Thank you so much. $10 PLN. Third one will win. Silver next to the gold one. Silver next to the gold one. Which one, sorry, are you meaning? The third one. Sorry, if you could just elaborate on that. Thanks again very much for that donation. Really, really appreciate that. Which helmet do you mean there? Sorry. We got some people saying A tier for the Montefortino. We got A/B tier, B or high C tier, C tier. Second now. Oh, this one here, the Gallic one. You think that one? Second now. Second on the left. I feel like I'm being an absolute idiot and not being able to figure out which helmet you're talking about. The Roman Gallic style. Okay, yes, that's a solid helmet. We'll get there. Okay, so as for the Montefortino, this is sparking some controversy. We got some people want it to go A or B. Some people want it to go C, high C or B. Okay, this is interesting. I think we're going to leave it where it is. It seems pretty 50-50 split. Some of you guys want it below and some of you want it higher. So we're going to leave that one where it is for now. Overall, I think a really solid helmet. Is it quite on A tier level? Not for me. Lots of people saying C, A. Okay, I think we'll leave it B then. For now. Seems pretty 50-50 split. Someone asked whether the Montefortino was related to the Gallic. It is an earlier Roman helmet before the Gallic was used. This would have been used in the Republican period of Rome, maybe early Empire. I think early Empire, but otherwise not. Typically gets sort of replaced by the Gallic. C tier, C or D. Wow, man, we want it some really, really low. I think this one might be the most controversial helmet we've had so far, which is surprising. C or D, man. We also had a lot of people that really like it. We're going to leave that there. We're going to move on to a very fan favorite helmet. This is the Salet. In no particular style. This one, I think, is a German style, but the Salet, I know, has a very, very strong place for many people in their hearts. I know a lot of people probably want me to put this up right at S tier. For me, it's not an S tier helmet. It is definitely an A tier helmet, and it goes somewhere here between the Chalcidian and Great Helm. Monster S. Yeah, we think we should do the Salet as an S tier helmet. Let's see. Salet S tier, B tier, A tier. Salet is a very good helmet. A tier, but unfortunately not enough chin protection. That's true as well. We are looking at the Salet without its collaboration with a Bever as well. A tier. Okay. We got S tier, B tier, A tier. Again, a very, very great helmet. A3, you think right where I have it. I'm thinking there as well. Love the Salet. Great helmet. Very, very practical helmet. I know I'm probably offending a lot of people with this choice, and I'm very, very sorry, because the Salet is an awesome helmet. For me, it's not quite as iconic as that Great Helm, and I prefer the Hellenic sort of sculptural aspect of the Chalcidian. But let's see. I got a question here. Would you rank some Middle Eastern and Eastern Roman or Persian style helmets? Yeah, I should have added some of those Middle Eastern style helmets into the list, actually. I was on a tirade of looking at helmets I typically think of, and I often don't think of those. Maybe we'll do another stream at a later date where we look at some other styles of helmets, and then see where that is. All right. So Salet, I think, is fair to say A tier where it is. Is there a delay? Yes, there is a delay. I'm not sure how long it is, unfortunately, which may cause some confusion. But as this for the Salet, I think A3, very, very solid helmet, very, very practical helmet. S/high A. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. For me, I just can't quite put it above the Chalcidian and Great Helm, but a really, really solid helmet. Okay, next up, we have a very, very popular helmet. That is the Imperial Gallic. I'm not actually sure what model of Gallic this one is in particular. There's quite a few. Lots of people love the Imperial Gallic. I'm going to ask you guys straight away for that stream delay to catch up. Where do you guys think the Gallic should be placed? For me, I actually am not a massive, massive fan of the Gallic. I'm leaning towards the top of B tier or the bottom of A tier. Very, very practical helmet. And some of them can look absolutely beautiful when they are overly fancy. But there's something about it that I'm just not quite there for. I prefer the Yeoman to it personally. Gallic is S tier because of its brow protection. Protection-wise and engineering-wise, it is an incredibly smart helmet. Yeah, other people saying straight to S. B1, you're thinking B1. That's where I was going to put it as well. S tier. We got a lot of people saying S tier. Okay, I think for that we got to put it in A tier. Then we got another saying B. We got a lot of people saying S tier. If I was ranking this myself, I would put it here, top B, which is probably upsetting some people. I think it's a very, very solid helmet. Looks cool, not my favorite, but we got a lot of people who really, really like it. I think maybe we should bump it up. What do we think? Into A. B. Yeah, we got more people saying B. It seems to be between B and A. The S tier people, I think, are being outvoted. B. I think we'll compromise, as there's some S tier people and some A tier people. We'll put it at the bottom of A for now. Again, if it was purely up to me, I'd put it at the top of B. But you guys have spoken, and you guys do really, really like this. Do I want to end up on a burning stake? Not ideally. But okay. Again, we'll leave it where it is for now. And at the end, once we've ranked everything, we will go back through, and anyone who desperately needs this to be changed, you can argue with me in the comments. It's fair to put it at the bottom of A to split the difference. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's one thing. We seem to have a lot of people who really love this helmet, some people who really don't. I think A tier, again, keep in mind, A tier is a very good helmet. Very, very good helmet. But yeah, not quite above the other ones to me. Next up, for me, this is the Myros style Corinthian helmet. Many of you will know that is my favorite style of Corinthian helmet. Lots of people probably don't prefer this to the Hermione style. Personally, I do. I love its more simple shape, and I absolutely love the always really beautifully designed and embossed patterns around it. Or we can bribe you. Oh yes, we should do this like an auction thing, shouldn't it? The highest donation puts that there. No, I don't want you guys spending loads of money. But I do like your thinking. That's a businessman. Yeah, for me, Myros Corinthian helmets, really, really love it. Awesome helmet. Very, very practical to wear. You can see in it excellently. You can breathe in it excellently. More comfortable to wear than the Hermione through practical experience. I can see why people prefer the look of the Hermione. Just for me, there's something about this slightly more simplistic shaping and subtle details of the Myros that I really, really like. Myros is 2 S tier because of its superior airflow, and yes, I agree. The Hermione Corinthian is a more restrictive and uncomfortable helmet to wear. So from a practical sense, I would rather wear a Myros Corinthian helmet. And again, just the sort of subtle shapings of it, I personally really like. I find it really aesthetically pleasing. But I can see why people would want the Myros and Hermione switched. But I'm going to leave that there. That's my objective placing, as it is my list fundamentally. And I have unlimited power. Until today, I love the Corinthian also, but seeing others, it's lame AF. What? That is blasphemous. I think we should get the burning stakes for someone else instead of where I placed the Gallic. So far, I agree with 100% of the rankings. Excellent. Thank you very much. That is great to hear. Okay, so Myros, it's final. It is going here. And again, I can see why people would want these switched. Next up, we have, this is an Armet. I'll say Armet / closed helm. I know there is a slight sort of modern difference in the closing system of the helmets that didn't necessarily appear in the ancient sources. Yes, my objective placing. Yes, I love the irony of saying that. I like the Armet. But for me, it's actually one of my least favorite knightly helmets. I much prefer the Salet, I much prefer the Bastet, I much prefer the Great Helm to the Armet. I'm personally thinking B2 or B1. Maybe B1 would be my placement for the Armet. B/A, some people are saying A. Yeah, I can definitely see. Again, it's another really, really iconic helmet. And again, I'm a little bit undecided. A little bit undecided for this. Personally, I'd be willing to bump it up to the bottom of A, but I'm quite happy with B1 personally. Got to be A1 just for Elden Ring. For that, it's not going to A1. Yep, good placement there. Okay. I don't think I've upset too many people with the placement of the Armet. Again, solid helmet. Just personally, not quite there for me. Next up, we're getting to some helmets that I'm not a massive fan of. This is the Apollo Corinthian, or the Italic Corinthian, which is a later sort of knockoff of the Corinthian helmet, designed to be worn tipped up. So that eye hole that you see on that helmet isn't actually an eye hole for the wearer. That would be worn tipped up like this. Personally, some people Love this helmet. I really don't. I'm putting this in. I'm putting this in D tier, to be quite honest. Maybe if some people really like it, I'll increase it to C. I know some people in my reenactment group are not going to be happy with me for that placement, to which I'm not sorry. It's just, it looks like a weird caricature bucket version of a Corinthian. It looks really, really weird. David Bowen, you like them? Yeah, I don't know, man. I can't agree with you on that one. D, it looks like Jabba the Hutt if it was a helmet. Honestly, that is absolutely yes, that is the best description. I'm sorry, David. Please don't kill me next event. Yeah, I don't know. It's for me, I find it really ugly. Now, some of them can look cool, I guess. We're making you sleep away from the camp for this one. Okay, fine. Honestly, that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I can see how they could look cool if they're like polished up and they have some crests. Any crested helmet looks cool. But when we're just going on actual helmet model itself, for me, I really just don't like this. I think it's you go from this Hermione style Corinthian, which is so epic looking, and then you make this thing down here that sort of resembles it, but again looks like Jabba the Hutt. For me, not a fan. Next up, we have an Attic helmet. This is another one where I think I'm a little bit outspoken. I don't like Attic helmets. I would put this in C tier, personally. I know, again, there's some people who will hate me for that placement because they love Attic helmets. For me, they just lack all of the character that previously existed on other Hellenic helmets, from even like the Pylos, the Corinthian, the Chalcidian, the Illyrian. It just doesn't have the same staying power in my memory, personally. Again, a perfectly practical helmet. It has invariably hinged cheek plates, it has brows and neck flaps, but it's just really lacking for me personally. It is just a worse hinged Chalcidian helmet. Again, practical helmet, but for me, it just lacks a lot of the charm. And gonna go battle a snail on my helmet. Maybe the lowest B. Yeah, I can see that. Maybe the lowest B. It does have some universal love. I'll move it up. I'll move it up to the bottom of B. Again, a very practical helmet, but for me, it's just missing so much of that charm that other Greek helmets had of a contemporary period. Not for me, personally. But again, I know that decision, as well as the Apollo Corinthian, is going to upset some people. But I think lowest B tier is fair, I think. Taking my own personal bias out of it, trying to, and listening to some of you guys, it's Mare Helmet. Yeah, I know. I think bottom of B is fair. The next on the list is the Spanish Morion, I believe you pronounce it. I really don't like this helmet, to be quite honest. Again, it's a very practical shape. This was used, I believe, by lots of Spanish conquistadors would have used this helmet. A little bit outside of my era of focus. But it just looks so bizarre. It looks almost like a boat with a sail, with very tipped-up brows. Again, quite practical, lots of intercepting parts of the helmet. But for me, just something about it is ugly. It's just a worse kettle hat, in my opinion. Someone wants S tier. Yeah, I don't know. I can't get on board with S tier for the Morion for me. C tier, no bueno. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't like it. Has a special place in your heart. B tier. Let's see. Morion helmet is at least A tier. Oh, really? Lots of people really, really like this helmet. Now I feel bad. You're Spanish as well. It's hard to take a Morion seriously. Yeah, that's the thing. And they're often so emblazoned with designs, but they're just such a weirdly shaped helmet. Like, they got style. I'll give them that. They got style, but not a style that I like, for me. And I just look at the other helmets that are on B tier, and I'm not sure I can really put them on that same level. I'm really sorry for those of you that really like that helmet, that want it in S tier and A tier. So much vibes. I don't know, it really doesn't do it for me. I just find it so weird. Probably how some people view the Hound Skull. They probably find it weird looking as well. Lots of people saying C tier, lots of people saying and some people are saying A tier. I'm gonna be honest. I think I'm gonna leave that in C tier. I think. I'm sorry. Next up, we have an Illyrian helmet. I really like the Illyrian helmet. Again, used to be a style of helmet that I wasn't a massive fan of. But it grew on me a lot, especially seeing some of them. Some of them look really, really nice. The example I have here isn't the best angle. It is, again, a very, very practical helmet. Outlasted the Corinthian helmet. For me, it doesn't top the Corinthian or the Chalcidian. But my gut instinct is saying my Greek bias would probably put it here or here. I'm thinking bottom of A tier for the Illyrian helmet. Very practical, still has a lot of character. Over 1/3 of our archaeological finds of Greek helmets are of the Illyrian type, which means it would have been likely very, very popular. Allowed for excellent visibility and breathability, but also excellent protection. But we'll see what you guys say. You guys are coming in. Some people saying D, C, or B. Agreeable. A question marks. Yeah, I really like this helmet. Makes sense to use. Yeah, very, very practical. Makes sense to use a hoplite shield. I agree. I think some people might not place this helmet A tier. I encourage you to look at some Illyrian helmets after this video, and you'll see some of them look really, really nice. I will give you guys credit. The example that I've put here in this image, maybe not, but I don't know. I personally really, really love them. You got a question? Is this an aesthetic tier, like favorites? It's basically whatever the heck I want to justify the placement of my helmets tier, and I try and take you guys into account. I try and take both into account, practicality and visuals. Of course, both are very important. David says Illyrians were super popular in the 5th century in Macedon. A ton were gold foil. Yeah, that's interesting as well. We have a lot that seem to have been burial masks almost. But then the helmet, I guess as a side note here, it's called the Illyrian helmet, not because of Illyrian design or modern Albanian design. It was called Illyrian either because the first helmet was found in Illyria, or a large number of them have. But the helmet seems to have been of Peloponnesian origin originally. Some people really don't agree with my A tier. I will be willing to compromise and put it at the top of B. Now, next up we have a helmet which is a very interesting style of helmet and a culture and era that I myself haven't done a copious amount of research into. Minecraft Cubing is going to sleep. Well, thanks so much for joining. Lovely to see you, and hopefully catch you in the next one. Hope you have a good night. Already some people are saying S tier. I think I believe it's called Kabuto is how you pronounce it, especially with the mask. Very cool. However, they also keep in mind the design for a specific purpose and style of fighting. For me, it's not a style of helmet that I'm massively fond of. I think it's very cool and very unique, and for that, it's going to be in A tier. It just depends where in A tier. I don't think I can put it below a Pilos. I think middle of A tier is fair. Solid helmet, interesting style of helmet, Not my personal preference of shaping. Um, but uh yeah, for me, it's cool, and I respect that it's unique and cool and iconic. So, but I can't really put it higher than that. I don't think it tops a Salet, personally. Um, but we'll see. I'll see. I'll let the comments roll in and see how many more times I'm going to be tied to a burning stake. Let's see. Perfect. You think this placement's good? Aesthetic, culture, etc. should be S or A. Um, I think middle of A is fair for this helmet. I think. Let's see. High B because I'm contrary. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. You might get burnt along with me as well. Yeah, S tier. Illyrian gets B, but Morion is C. Yeah, for me, I don't know. I really don't like the Morion. Just the shape. The shape I really don't like. Yeah, so I mean, there's so many variations in Kabutos, but there's also so many variations of all of these styles of helmets. Like, I can find you Houndskull Basnets I think look ugly as heck. I can also find Houndskull Basnets that I think look really, really cool. Um, Same with basically all of these. Like, some Corinthians look goofy, some of them look really epic. So yeah, it's hard to generalize these categories. Okay, but so far, I think people are decently happy with that Kabuto placement. Um, so I think we'll leave it there. Moving on. This is a really, really cool helmet. This is the Sutton Hoo helmet. This is a very, very famous Anglo-Saxon helmet. When you see the in the British Museum, they have the original, and then they have a reconstruction where it's all polished silver and gold. It looks fantastic. It's a very, very cool helmet. Has the mask on the front as well. Um, Very iconic. Very, very iconic helmet. Sort of a symbol of the Vendel period as well as the Spangenhelms, which I didn't put on this list. I should have put the Spangenhelm on this list. One of my favorite helmets as well. Um, let's see. Saxon is B. Yeah, I'm thinking B tier as well for the Sutton Hoo. A very unique helmet and a very, very cool helmet. But I don't think I can put it as A tier. Some people think C tier. For me, I think I'm gonna put Sutton Hoo. Hmm. See, this is the problem. It's when you have two very different styles of helmets I like for two different reasons. I'm thinking. I'm thinking. I'm thinking B2. Very, very cool, but doesn't quite top the Illyrian for me. I'm also fully aware that if I was ranking these, I'd have a slight different order, but I am also trying to listen to you guys. Low B, high C, really C tier. C1, really? Okay, so some people want it lower. B, yeah, I think it definitely deserves B. I'm inclined to leave it at B2 personally. It's a very, very cool and unique helmet. Um, Especially when you see it restored, the replicas. I think it's quite cool. But we'll see. I'd be willing to move it down as it tops the Armet. Maybe we'll settle for B3. Some people really don't like this. We'll see. Okay. Next up, we have another very iconic helmet. This is the Frogmouth helmet. Some people absolutely love this helmet. Certain YouTuber comes to mind, absolutely loving the Frogmouth helmet. Um, I I really struggle with this one because it's not S tier. It's not S tier for me. I can't put it there. Is it a shape of a helmet that I particularly like? No. Was it incredibly practical for jousting? Yes. Was it sometimes used in warfare? Yes, it was. Um, yeah, for me, it's practical, so I can't put it in. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I'm thinking high C or low B. It's only for tournament. It's actually not. We have quite a few depictions showing knights using this helmet in combat as well. So it's not actually only a jousting helmet. It was also used in war, just not very commonly. I think it should go. I personally prefer it to the Attic. Maybe it is also very symbolic. I'm thinking there, bottom middle of B. That's where I'm thinking. It is very iconic. Was very practical for what it was designed for, but also very weird helmet. So yeah, we'll see. I'll let these comments come in. Knights were not soldiers. Well, I'm not sure what the definition of soldier would be in that case, but they were certainly warriors. You prefer the Apollo to the Frogmouth? Yeah, honestly, I can see that. They have interesting quirks to them. But for those of you who are saying that this is only a tournament helmet, we do have depictions of it being used in war, but just not very commonly. And what's also cool is there are some bassinets that actually have visors that are very, very similar to frogmouths with that sort of croaking frog look. So I think that's fair. Some people really want this higher, I can understand. Some people really don't like it. I think bottom middle of B is a pretty fair placement. Okay, next up, we have the Barbute. I'm going to be honest, I really don't like the Barbute, which is interesting because some of them resemble Corinthians quite a lot. But I just think it's a worse Corinthian in every way. I especially don't like the T visors. I'd possibly be inclined to actually put this behind the Morion, just for me personally. I'm really not a Barbute fan. Really not a Barbute fan. They almost come across as disappointing for me because they almost try and emulate Corinthian helmets, but they fall so short from that bar, in my opinion. So I think I actually, for that reason, would put it below the Murion, because at least the Murion has its own sort of unique shape, which is cool, but I just don't personally like. Whereas the Barbute is just sort of a like all-round worse-looking Corinthian. Personally. So we'll see. What do people think with that placement? Wait for that stream delay to catch up. Yeah, some people saying C tier. Yeah, I think C, definitely a D. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not a massive fan of the Barbute. Again, I know a lot of people really, really like it, and it seems to have been very popular in specifically 15th century Italy, I believe. But for me, when you're putting that and you're comparing that to sallets and armets and great bassinets, it just falls so short, in my opinion. I don't know. True or false? Boba Fett wears a Barbute. Very arguably so, a Star Wars Barbute. And one thing that I actually love as a side note, the Armorer's helmet from The Mandalorian is very much based on Corinthian helmets. So the Mandalorians themselves have interesting helmet models, but yeah, very Corinthian / Barbute-esque. But okay, so I think most people are happy with C placement for the Barbute. Next up, we have the Boeotian helmet. This is, of course, famously described as Xenophon as an excellent cavalry helmet. Interestingly enough, arguably no depictions of hoplites wearing this helmet. Arguably some as well, but a little bit of an interesting situation there where it's extraordinarily rare to see Boeotians on foot. It's low S tier. I don't know. I'm not a fan of the Boeotian. It is, of course, another based on a hat. I'm inclined to put it in B tier. There. Is where I'm inclined to put it. I'm not a massive fan of it. I like lots of the helmets that are based on hats. I really like. This would basically be like turning a baseball cap into a helmet, which is cool. For me, I'm not a massive fan. I'm putting it low B. Definitely practical. Has a lot of love for a lot of people. Yeah, some people are saying D tier, C tier. Yeah, I don't know. I could agree with putting it here. What do people think? Do we think low B or C tier? Low S tier. Interesting. It is what Alexander's cavalry used to conquer Persia. This one, I feel like I'm upsetting people no matter which one I choose. Some people love this helmet, some people really don't. I think I'm going to stick to my guns and put it here. A little bit bridging the gap between what people are saying. Above Pilos, I much prefer the Pilos, to be honest. I love the simplicity of the Pilos. I think the Pilos is going to be one that a lot of people disagree with me on, but I think it's a helmet that will grow on people. For one, the more that they use them, and just the more that they respect the simplicity. That's where my decision's going. Okay, now next up. This helmet I was doing a lot of thinking of because it looks goofy, and anyone who's watched old Doctor Who might think this resembles a Cyberman, and I 100% agree with it. And it's a really weird looking helmet. It's got a goofy looking grin, it's got these weird flaps under the eyes, and overall it looks really, really weird. But for some reason, I absolutely love this helmet. I really like this helmet. And in fact, I think that it is so creepy or genuinely disturbing. Like, imagine if you're fighting on the battlefield, and I've done a little artistic mock-up of this that I will share with you guys momentarily after this tier list is done. Imagine you're fighting, and someone around you gets struck down, and you see this smiling, soulless, black-eyed helmet rise covered in blood. That's horror movie material. Like, it looks so genuinely freaky, especially if there's like blood splatter on it, that I absolutely love the eerie and weirdness of this helmet. For me, I would put this like there. I eventually want to get a reproduction of this helmet made. For me, that's my reasoning. It is such a weird helmet, really, really unique helmet, but I think could literally be like horror movie material. Like, it's such a weird and creepy looking helmet that I think it deserves, due to its uniqueness, deserves to be high. Arguably one of my favorite helmets and one of my least favorite helmets at the same time. But I'll be interested to hear what you guys think, and I will share my little artistic mock-up. In fact, I want to do a video on this helmet for Halloween, as a little Halloween special, on just how creepy it could be. But I think that is the closest thing to a horror movie character plated in steel. Anyways, the game is rigged, but funny anyway. Nice to meet you guys. Yeah, it's still a bit rigged. It is, after all, my objective opinion, which should become my catchphrase. I should put that on a t-shirt. Where did you put the Ottoman Sikiak helmet? I'm actually not sure how you pronounce that. I'm not actually sure what that helmet looks like, to be quite honest. But yes, I'm a massive fan of this helmet. Okay, so this is the final tier list. So far, we can do some revising, and then I really want to share with you guys my little mock-up of how terrifying the helmet could be. So in S tier, we have the pig-faced bassinet, my favorite helmet. Following it, we have the Myros Corinthian, also arguably my favorite helmet, and then the Hermione Corinthian, also one of my favorite helmets. For me, I do prefer the Myros to the Hermione. That one I can see why people might want to be jumbled around, and I can also see why some people really don't like the Hound Skulls. I absolutely love them. So that's S tier. I think very reasonable. A tier, we have the Great Helm, arguably the most iconic knightly helmet of all time. I think it's awesome. Following that, we have the Chalcidian helmet. Not quite Corinthian material for me, but again, very similar. I think it looks great and very, very practical. Following that, we have the Sallet. Again, one of the most iconic knightly helmets of all time. Very, very practical. Looks good. I think it makes sense in A tier. We got a Samurai Kabuto after that. Not my cup of tea, but definitely respect it for being unique and massively symbolic of the samurai class. I think very, very cool. Perhaps a controversial pick. We have the Pylos helmet following that. Some people love this helmet, some people don't. I love it. Very, very practical, very, very simple, and that's sort of why I love it so much. And again, they can be fancified, if that's a word. They can have crests and horns and laurel wreaths and other stuff. Following that native, we have the Yeomanbu helmet. Very, very iconic Viking Age helmet. I think looks very, very cool, especially when it has an Aventail. After that, we have probably the next most controversial pick, the weird Cyberman-looking helmet. Again, I love the spookiness of this helmet. Like, it is so creepy. It's a smiling helmet that looks emotionless at the same time. I love that, personally. We then have the Gallic, Roman Gallic. Again, I'm not quite sure what type this is. The picture's a little bit grainy. Again, absolutely love it. In its practical sense, in its visual sense, not as much for me. Some of them can look really awesome, but some of them fall a little bit flat. But again, A tier, massively prevalent historically. The helmet, of course, very, very practical. And really the symbol of the most professional army of all time. So, deserves in an A spot, I think. Dropping into B tier, this is our largest tier. We have the Illyrian helmet, which again is a bit of a controversial pick. Personally, I really like the Illyrian helmet. Some of them look absolutely gorgeous. Some of them fall a little bit flat. The example in the picture here falls a little bit flat, but some of them are really, really beautiful. Very, very practical and a very, very popular helmet. Following that, we have the Armet. Again, not my favorite medieval style helmet. Very iconic at the same time. But again, just sort of a meh helmet to me. Could like it, could not. We have the Sutton Hoo, another very, very iconic helmet. Some people love it, some people don't. Sort of found its way in B tier. We have the Kettle Hat, or the Chapelle de Fer, a very practical soldier's helmet, a very practical guard's helmet, used basically throughout the whole Middle Ages. Overall, I think some of them look a little bit ugly, some of them look great. Overall, middle of B tier, I think is very, very fair for this practical sort of soldier's helmet. Following that, we have the Montefortino helmet, sort of a staple of Republican Rome, of Caesar's Rome. Practical, conical, cheek plates, can't really go wrong with it. B tier. Following that, we have the Frogmouth, very, very iconic. Very practical for sport, and again, sometimes used in actual combat. Also looks really, really weird. A very, very mixed helmet. Some people loved it, some people didn't. Found its way in B tier. Following that, we have the Norman Nasal. Again, perfectly practical, sort of like its simplicity. Nothing particularly going for it. So B tier. Again, I think that's quite a fair spot. We have the Boeotian helmet, which again was a very torn helmet. Some of you loved it, some of you really didn't. It's all right, not my favorite. Ended up in B tier, and then the Attic helmet, again, in my opinion, just a worse all-round Chalcidian. Not a massive fan. C tier, we have the Morion, which is going to be the one that gets me burnt at the stake. Some people love this helmet, and I can see why. It's the type of helmet that I could see would grow on me. I could. And I respect its uniqueness. I do respect its uniqueness. But I just I don't know. It feels like if Georgie from It was going to make you a helmet, but I could be convinced to up that to B tier. Following that, we have the Barbute. Again, just an all-round worse Corinthian helmet, in my opinion. Not a massive fan. And last on our list, which again has upset some people, is the Apollo Corinthian helmet. Not much to say about it, really. Looks like a poor knockoff of the Corinthian, and it really was. So, I know that's made some people upset. Overall, I think that this list is pretty fair. Of course, some of my objective opinions have got in the way of where other people would rank them. But interested to hear your thoughts. Now, I want to share with you that image of how do I stop sharing? I want to share with you that image. Oh, replace screen sharing. Let me do that. Can I just share my entire screen? I think I can. There we go. You're going to get some weird stuff. So yes, I was mocking up some things. Like, tell me that wouldn't be absolutely horrifying to see. Like, if you're on the battlefield and you see this soulless, smiling, weird, creepy-looking helmet. Like, I think that is so cool. It looks like a horror film character, like something out of Saw or something. Like, tell me that isn't horrifying. And again, this is going to be a thumbnail for a future video that I do actually on this helmet, because I think it's really, really cool. And I need to find some more information on it. I don't even know what era this is. Is this like a Renaissance weird tournament helmet? I'm not sure. But it's so weird. Like it for me, again, anyone who's familiar with Doctor Who, it's very Cyberman-like. It has like a smile, this weird goofy grin, these weird eyes, these eyebrows, but at the same time it's so emotionless and soulless, and I just think has a really creepy vibe to it. And I just needed to mock this up, this weird blood-splattered Halloween-y thumbnail. Like, genuinely interested, what do you guys think of this helmet when you see this image? I'd be really, really interested to hear what your guys' thoughts are. Hannibal Lecter. Yeah, right. It has this weird, really psychologically almost disturbing look to it. Like it is very Cyberman-like, in my opinion. I don't know. I think it's cool, and that's why it made its way high on the list. It's ugly as heck, but at the same time, so unique and I think sort of eerily creepy. So yeah, very interested to hear what you guys think. And that will eventually, again, we will eventually be doing a video on this helmet for a sort of Halloween special. I think it'd be cool to do. Let's see. Yeah, you think it looks goofy? It's a smiley emoji. Honestly, yeah, it almost does look like that. It almost looks like an emoji that was turned into a helmet, and there's something so weird about that. And I don't know. I think it's almost that uncanny valley, almost human, emotionless, black-eyed, smiling helmet as it cuts through you and your friends in this battle. I don't know. I think that's pretty creepy. Pretty sure it's 16th century. Yeah, I think it is as well. I think it's a Renaissance helmet. But I'm not sure. Again, I basically just found this helmet when I was looking to make this tier list. I was like, honestly, that's really weird and cool. And there it is. Made this little mock-up. You believe that a unified helmet worn by each member of the army will make more impact on the enemy than weird ones? I'm not sure, to be honest. They're different, right? Like you often think of professionalized armies as being uniformed, but I think there's something that they both have pros and cons. I think it's difficult to say. Anyways, that was the tier list ranking. Some of you hate me for it. Some of you agree. How do I stop sharing? There we go. Some of you hate me for it. Some of you agree. there we go. I hope that you guys enjoyed that. I hope that you enjoyed today's stream. I had a good time. And again, maybe we can revisit these tier video streams later on. There are some even creepier ones from that period, honestly. Really? Okay, I'll have to have a look, because those are cool. I eventually, at some point, want to get one of those replicated. Anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I had a good time. Thanks for joining me on this Sunday morning, afternoon, night, wherever it is that you guys are joining me from. I hope that you guys enjoyed the stream, and I will hopefully catch you guys in whatever video I decide to make next week and in next weekend's stream. So thanks very much. I hope that you guys all have a lovely rest of your Sunday, and we will see you guys later.